guys, we're going to be changing the rear drum brakes on a 92 YJ today. I've never done this before, so we have a book for reference. Going to try it out. So you can make fun of me if I make mistakes. I don't really care. It's all in fun. So this came as a whole package. I got it from Crown Automotive in Canton, Mass. So you can head down there and check them out. Came as a whole kit. All the parts are included. You get everything laid out here. And we have we decided to replace all these springs and stuff like that just because the stuff that's in there is probably very old. I don't think these brakes have been touched in a while. We've been having issues with them, so we just decided to crack it open and just change them. Other things that you'll need: tools, some screwdrivers, these things, some lubricant, high temperature. You can get it anywhere. It says brake lubricant on it. We also got some special brake tools, so we're going to try these out. And once we get all the parts out, you need to scrub everything down in there, get out all the rust bits and whatever. So I have some sandpaper and a wire brush, brake cleaner, and we also have some like PB blaster stuff that we put on a couple of things just in case they're seized up. And we are ready to begin, I guess. We're getting ready to pull the drum off. Obviously, I didn't mention this earlier, but we have the vehicle jacked up and on jack stands, and of course blocks of wood in the front because we don't have an emergency brake because they're up in the air. So sometimes you might have to hit this with a rubber mallet to loosen it, but it should be okay. Alright. Ooh, look. That's lovely. This is probably one of the reasons why it wasn't working very well. This is the new part here. It's an adjuster cable. So this is under high pressure. Obviously there was no pressure. Alright. I'm just going to move this tire out of the way because I need to get lower. So first thing we're going to do is spray this all down, let it dry up, and then we'll start to take everything out. This is brake cleaner, obviously. One thing that I should have done before I started spraying was to put this underneath. This is just going to catch all the gunk and whatever. At this point, you just want to look in here and just take note of everything. We also took the tire off the other side, so we can kind of reference that side. You don't want to take both of them apart and then not know how they go back together. That wouldn't be very good. So what we're probably going to do is just sort of lay out all the new parts over here on the side, sort of in the order as I see them on there as well, just as a guideline. So that's what I'm going to do next. So the next step that we're going to do is, if you want to come in closer and look, this part here normally is held up against this, but because that piece that I showed you earlier was broken, it doesn't have this tension on it. So we don't have to bother prying this down like we normally would. Then we have to turn this adjuster so that we can make the shoes pull in, so we can start to remove things. Okay, so that looks like it's all the way in now. So the next step would really be to remove the adjuster cable. Again, this is the piece that was snapped. This is usually, there's a little hole up in here that you can see, and the spring is usually just right about there usually. But this is already taken out. So that makes our job a little easier. Next step is we're going to remove this. We're going to just kind of pry it off. So you should be able to just take a screwdriver and take it off like that. Okay, there we go. Right, so now that we remove this, we're going to just remove this thing here. Just stick it up. Should be able to just pop it right off. There we go. And we do reuse this piece, so make sure you clean it up with some brake cleaner and just put it to the side. Just spray it down. Okay. Then just take this spring off. So we have these pieces. We're just gonna, I did spray them down with some brake cleaner. They still look kind of crappy. I'm just gonna place them over here. These are all our parts kind of set out, laid out for when we go to replace everything. So we will be reusing these two pieces. You don't want to throw those out. And also, when you took this off, you probably should have paid attention to which way it went on. I will reference the other side. I believe it went on this way. And then next, we are going to remove these top springs. So we get to use our nifty little tool. We're going to use this part of it Has like a thing that you just put over this top, whatever you want to call it. And it has like a little notch, so we're just going to stick it in there. I also spray this down with some brake cleaner too, just to sort of loosen things up. Hopefully it will help. So stick it on, twist it so the little notch goes up under the top spring, and then sort of just pull it, and it should just come off. Just kind of be careful because there is a lot of pressure on there. Okay, and this just comes out. Do the other side, opposite direction. Brat. Maybe I'll try it from the bottom. May take a couple tries. I think I got lucky on that last one where it happened on the first time. It's almost there. It's very rusty. Pitch. There we go. Okay, I'm just taking out these. Side. All right, then you can just take this loop out. It just slides right off. This was part of that original piece, so it's broken. And then the next thing we're going to do is remove this plate here. You should be able to just take a screwdriver and pry it out. Probably easier said than done, but we will try. I think this baby is stuck in here. So we're getting a hammer and just a bigger screwdriver. There we go. Made it much easier. Clean that up later. Just put it to the side for now. We will reuse that, so save that piece. Okay. And what is the next step? Looks like we're going to remove this piece down here. Where's my small thing? Just take this piece out here. Which I thought would just pop out, but it doesn't. So I'm an idiot. So we actually have a new part that we're replacing, so we don't have to remove this, which is good because that wasn't going to come off. So, all right, the next actual step is to remove these. We have a special tool for that, and you sort of just put pressure on it. There's a screw in the back, so you just want to put your finger over that. There's two ways to do it. You can either try to twist the pin. The pin basically is right here. I'll show you on the new part so you can understand. The pin comes in through the back. It has a little notch on it, so it's twisted, so you can see in there, so it can't come out. So basically you can either try to push the pin and twist it, and then just pull it out, or you can try to just finagle it in the front with that tool and twist the screw part or whatever, spring part. I think these are going to be a pain. Very rusty. And just be careful when you're bringing the spring back because they are under pressure and they could come flying out at you. You should probably be wearing safety goggles, but nobody wants to wear those. Sort of just trying to break up this rust first because it really doesn't want to twist. Okay. All right, it's starting to move a little bit. You just have to really twist this slightly. But again, trying to. Alright, so since this tool wasn't helping me out very well, I decided to use some needle nose vice grips. And I sprayed this, oh, look at that. I sprayed this down a little bit too with some more brake cleaner because it was really stuck in there. Right. As you can tell, these are kind of loose. Okay, I'm gonna take them off kind of carefully. Okay. Next thing that we need to do, and this part here we need to save, so don't break it. As you sit here and watch me struggle, my lovely husband pointed out that there's just a notch in there that slides out of, so there we go. All this crap is junk. See, these are all the old parts, pretty nasty looking. Okay. And also, there was this piece that kind of fell apart when everything was coming off. This is part of the parking brake assembly. There is a spring on the right side, depending which tire you're doing, but this one kind of broke anyway. We don't reuse the spring. We have that in the new kit that we had gotten, but we do need to save this piece. And just make note too, on the spring when it goes on, there is a, here, I'll show you. This is the spring. So one side is smaller than the other. So as you can see, it's this end. So this end would go on first, the tighter side. And so we'll just put that to the side. Next step we're going to do is clean this up. See all this junk in there? It all has to come out. So we'll just spray it with a bunch of brake cleaner. Gonna sand it down, use that wire brush on it. Make sure it's nice and clean. Right, so we cleaned it up. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to replace these wheel cylinders. This is the new part, so it just sits in like that. There's some bolts in the back here that we have to take off. It's 3/8. And we also put some speed bleeders on here. I'm just going to give you the part number because they're very difficult to find on the websites. This is part number 12704. You can get them at any place. Alright, so just put this down. Sometimes you might want to spray these ahead of time with some PB Blaster or something to just help loosen it up. And once you get both of these out, the next thing we're going to have to do is remove the brake line that's back here. Alright, so we replaced the wheel cylinder, and my husband took care of the brake line in the back. I really didn't want to fuss around with that, so he's already taken that off and put it back on when we put this back in. I guess sometimes they can be quite nasty and you may have to actually replace the line. So in this case we did not. But so anyway, just tightening that back up. That's good. That's on. Voila. So before we start putting everything back together, we do have to lube up a few things with this lubricant. There's a couple of points on here. You can kind of see they're like raised. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places that you have to put it on there. We also have to lubricate this. You want to unscrew this all the way so all the threads are showing on that side. We'll lube that up, and we'll also put some lube in here. Also, I changed my gloves. You want to do this, putting everything back together with clean gloves. So we're getting ready to put the assemble everything back together. So we got the brake shoes, spring, and this little adjuster piece here. So it's just sort of all put together. You can kind of see, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, I think, but if you're not sure, zoom in, take a quicker look. So you get your spring here to here. The adjuster just sort of sits in here. There's little things that they fit right in. So we're just going to place this up on here. We're going to have to make sure that this little tab gets put into the back of this. So this should be fun. I'm sure I'm going to have this fall apart a few times, but we will try. Okay, let's go inside. Try to get the tab on first, I guess, and then shut that damn kid up. Just kidding. Tab is on. Problem is the bottom fell apart. Oh, look at that. It went back together. Great. Alright. Alright, so we're just going to put the parking brake, whatever this thing is called, in. So just put your spring on. Again, it goes on the right side, smaller side on first. Just going to try to slide it in back here. Alright, so I'm just going to put this pin thing back on, whatever this thing is called. Just put a little bit of grease around here so it will slide on a little bit easier. Alright, so what we're going to do is we have a little socket. I'm just going to tap it with a hammer to help push it on. It's almost on. Now we're going to put the emergency brake in. Since before it was sort of just falling all over the place. Oh crap, this other thing fell off again. The tab on this thing in the back keeps falling out on me for some reason. Alrighty, there we go. This just goes in like this. Theoretically, you should be able to just slide this in fairly easily. You notice on this side there is sort of little tabs that the spring will just fit right into. Oops. Like that. So now I'll put these little springs back on. I thread the screw through the back. Again, use this tool. Can't see. Right. And now we're going to start some more of the reassembly. We're just going to put these springs in their little corresponding holes. These will eventually go back up and around that, but for now, just stick them in. On this side, we have this little guide that goes in first. Just pop that in there. Okay. Alright, so the next piece to go on is the adjuster cable, which I'm trying to gently untwine. Okay, there we go. Now there is a correct way to put this on. You want to make sure that the flat end of this has to go against there. So you want to make sure that this wire, okay, there we go. Sort of, let's just put that on. Just leave that out of the way for now, I guess. So the next thing we're going to do is attach these springs to this little doohickey thing up here. So on this tool, it's this little piece. So these close here. This is the bottom end of it. It's kind of got a little thing that you can grab onto with. So just put this in there, and hopefully this will work easily. Just sort of let it slide down. Try not to move it. It should just go over like that. To the other side. As you can see, this sort of is bringing everything back in together. Oh. Alright, third time's a charm. Yeah, right. It's gonna come flying off. Oh, there we go. Okay.
That was scary.
So, next thing we're gonna do is take this little cable and that little metal guide thing, you want to make sure that the cable is behind that. So you may have to take a screwdriver and just sort of gently press it in there. Which, for some reason, it's being a pain. Okay, so that's in. Okay, so the next thing. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is put these little pieces in. So this one will have to go first.
No, it doesn't.
Why not? It doesn't go first?
No.
Oh. I thought I had to so that this fits over it. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Okay. So that just slides on. Apparently this goes on in front of it. So then, okay, I see what you're doing. So then we have to pry that forward and up on top of it to hold it in place. Gotcha. There's my screwdriver. Alright, I don't know how well you can see up in here, but it's very difficult to work in here with having a camera in the face and everything else. But anyway, basically, these were those two pieces that we put on. And then we had this loose spring here coming down. So we attached the spring to here, which holds this piece up against here. This is for the adjustment. So that was basically the steps that we did. It's just hook it in that little notch right there. And we had pried this over the top of this piece here, which holds it in place. Alright, so now that it's all assembled, we're just going to spray it all down. Probably grease on the pads and stuff too, so just want to make sure we get it all. It'll be good. I'm going to spray the drum too.
Why are you spraying the drum?
Clean off anything that could be in it. So we're just going to put the drum on, see how it feels, and make some adjustments. Something on the pad right there. That's, hey, can you look at this? Okay, is this a really tight fit or what? There we go. Okay, it's on. Just spin it. It's very tight, it's very snug. Definitely have some adjustments to make. Okay, we're gonna bleed the brakes now. We did fill up the reservoir already, so I'm just gonna attach this to the speed bleeder back here, which we've already loosened up a little bit. We're just using our bucket that we have here, so should be good to go. So we just finished bleeding the brakes. So now we're just going to turn the vehicle on and run it back and forth a couple of times. The brakes should sort of self-adjust, and we'll take it for a spin, make sure it feels okay. actually have some stopping power for once. And no squeals. It used to squeal like a pig. It's awful.
Squeal like a pig.
Yeah. It would be like, woo. Put it in reverse a little bit. Try not to skid in the sand. But I can actually feel the meat grabbing. I don't think there was any meat on those last shoes, that's for sure. So, definitely was worth it. Alright, overall this was a fun project. Got in there and got to get our hands dirty a little bit. The first side that we did took probably about an hour and a half, and that was with a broken brake line that we kind of broke, trying to take apart the wheel cylinder. Second time going through on the other side was much easier. Probably took about a half hour total from start to finish. Definitely a good project to do yourself and save a ton of cash. What else? Oh yeah, the brake tools that we used weren't necessary, I don't think. I think you could have, used other tools that you had around. A couple times I got frustrated with some of the tools because they weren't working for me very well, so I improvised and used another type of tool with the needle nose pliers. Definitely spray everything with brake cleaner, and there were a couple of parts that needed to be sprayed ahead of time with like PB blasters to help loosen up. Lots of rust. Again, the rear brakes on this probably had not been done in a long time. The broken parts back there. What else?
Would you do it again?
Yes, I would definitely do it again.
Good, because mine's next.
Okay.